Folks, welcome back to the TRE podcast. I'm your host, Matt Celesio. Thank you again for spending some time with us. This is actually my third podcast of the weekend, and we've really been batching it. And I'm happy to wrap up this weekend with one of my special guests, Jaleel, my man. Thank you for coming on the show.
No problem, man. What is poppin', y'all? I'm Jaleel, muscle gain coach.
Yeah, man. So I'm happy we're coming on to this episode talking about muscle gain, especially because a lot of the people that follow me or I've been interacting with, they're excited and really eager to know about bulking, quote unquote bulking, muscle gain. Everybody wants to look fit. Everybody wants to fill out those sleeves. So I think you're going to bring a good insight into this conversation today.
Yeah, man. That's always a fun topic because people always, I feel like people always overcomplicate it or oversimplify it because it's pretty simple. But there's some aspects to it that you want to make sure you're hitting, and then also you don't want to be overcomplicating it too much where it feels like you can't even do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And before we dive in, I always like to ask my guests, do you have an intention for this episode today that our listeners either take something away, what they really want to learn? What's your intention behind coming on here today?
That you guys just learn something new when it comes to muscle gain, how easy it can be, and having a holistic approach to it as well. Make sure you can actually create a lifestyle around fitness. That's what I'm huge on, because most of you guys, most people want to look aesthetic. You're not trying to go into a competition, so create a lifestyle around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know what? It's good that you say that because on my personal journey, at least, I've always been head down. Let's just get into the gym, work out 7 times a week, and that's the only thing that I'm going to deem quote unquote health. Right? Yeah. So I know you and I both, we can dive into our personal stories on that, but talk about what you mean by a holistic approach to building muscle and that whole lifestyle rather than just this one-dimensional approach to I need to just lift weights and get jacked.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, I've been through that journey as well. Where it's all I've been thinking about is just going to the gym, lifting as heavy as I possibly can and as frequently as I can. Always having that more is better mindset is what I had before. Now, holistic is, like I said, kind of building a lifestyle around it. So you're building a solid base. So you're incorporating nutrition, fitness, mindset, and recovery to your journey, which you should be doing, but a lot of people don't actually have a good balance of that. A lot of people only focus on the nutrition and just the fitness aspect of things. You want to make sure you have everything all four encompassed so that you can maintain it long term. Because if you're lacking mindset or recovery, you can't maintain it, especially how a lot of us, anyone getting to their fitness journey, a lot of times, like I said, just go in the gym and try to lift as heavy as possible, always trying to hit new PRs, just always trying to destroy their body, ignoring everything else. And that's why they fail. That's why they're not getting muscle. Yeah. And they're always shit. I know at first, part of that too is, I might go on a little tangent here, but part of that too is when you start your journey, you're a newbie, the first year, you gain a lot of muscle. You can gain a lot of muscle doing anything. You're doing wrong shit, you're curling like crap, your form is trash. As long as you don't injure yourself, you can gain muscle. Now, when people gain muscle at that rate, how fast they do it the first year, maybe even 2 years, but I'll say the first year, it depends how well you train. But people always chase that level of muscle gain, that how fast they gain muscle gain. Because as you get more tuned to training, you're going to gain muscle slower. And people always chase that. So they think, okay, what worked for me then is going to work for me now. Back then, I was just, training however, trying to destroy my body. That should keep working for me now. Say, no, you're just a newbie. Your body is new stimulus to your body, and that stimulus made your body grow. Now you need to actually be more monotonous to it because you're more accustomed to it. That's where better form comes into play, better recovery comes into play, making sure that you're consistent with it, looking at how much volume you're training, looking at your intensity. That's where that stuff is going to come into play when you're trying to gain muscle.
Yeah. Well, one thing that stuck out for me there was how you said you're going to chase that level of growth. You're going to chase that level of progress. And the analogy that I really learned along the way, because I was in that same boat. I go, I was jacked the first year. The second year, I'm barely squeaking out any sort of progress. I can't get my weight up enough. And somebody gave me the analogy of imagine a baseball player, a pitcher. He goes, let's say they start in high school, they throw 60 miles an hour. But then they move up to college. Great. Now they're throwing 85. Then they hit the MLB. Great. Now they're hitting 99 miles an hour. They go, that person at the MLB level, he's not going to get to 120 now. He goes, you're at that point where you're almost maximizing what you're able to output for your specific body. So you have to work 10x harder to get even the most minuscule results sometimes. So that's where I think a lot of the frustration comes in, especially why am I not getting that extra bulk as I did in the beginning, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then that causes people to look for shortcuts.
Ooh, dangerous shortcuts.
Yeah, they look for, because so many people, especially young guys nowadays, are always talking about what they can take to get bigger, like what, like drugs or supplements. It's like supplements are like, it's in the word. It's a supplement. It's to supplement your actual lifestyle, your diet, with like supplement everything else you're doing. So you want to look first at the basics, like I was mentioning, the volume, like how many sets per muscle group are you training, right? Are you hitting per week right now? What's your intensity in the gym? What's your recovery like? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating enough? Because if you're in a calorie deficit, you're not going to grow. You're not going to grow. That's like, those are the very basics you should be looking at. And a lot of times, because I did this in the past too, overtraining, that's putting too much stress on your body. You could be doing too much, so you're not going to grow. That's why I was talking about that mindset at first, where you just go in the gym, you're thinking more is better. I think I was doing like upwards of 35 sets, maybe even 40 sets of like back and chest and everything, hoping I would grow. And then I wasn't growing, and then I just felt fatigued. And I'm like, okay, I need to take like a week off the gym, or like a deload or some shit every other week, or every like 2-3 weeks, because my body was so destroyed from the type of training I was doing. And that's what a lot of guys, like especially young guys, or just people getting into the gym or transitioning from that newbie phase, do. Because during that newbie phase, they gain so much muscle.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Jaleel, break down for us what you mean by overtraining. So somebody right now can listen, or that's listening, say, maybe I am overtraining. Like, what does that look like for somebody? How do they know if you're overtraining?
You have no structure. Because when you're overtraining, you're just trying, your goal is just, I'm going to get in the gym and work out. And it's like, what's the goal here? Like, what are you working towards? What are you going to do to get to your goal? Because if you have any goal, you kind of want to create structure and look at how you're going to reach that goal, your step-by-step to reach that goal. Because if you don't have that step-by-step, what are you aiming for? So they have no structure when they're trying to build their muscle. Because overtraining is, you're doing too much, basically. You're putting your body in the state where it becomes catabolic. Because your body only has so much nutrients to put towards growth. Like, you want to grow your chest, your arms, you're stressing out your body, now it has to recover and grow. When you're overtraining, you're stressing your body so much that it's struggling to even recover, where it's not going to grow. It can't go into an anabolic state, because it's just constantly in the catabolic state. That's why it feels so stiff. That's why you're so fatigued. That's why you're so tired, mentally and physically. Your body has no energy, no nutrients, no resources to put towards growth, because you're overtraining.
So when you say catabolic, it's breaking down. Anabolic means building up, right?
Yes.
Unreal.
Those are so normal to me. Those normal terms to me, I forget people don't know them.
Yeah. Sometimes, right? It's part of our everyday vocabulary.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I at least think about when we get into overtraining, and me specifically, I feel like I overtrained because I was never satisfied with what my body looked like. So I always felt I needed to 10x what I was doing. I go, I'm not jacked enough, I'm not fit enough, I'm not big enough. The guy over there is lifting way more dumbbells than I am. I want to get to that point. So like you said, having no structure, having no end goal, like I was just lifting to kind of almost run away from this body dysmorphia that I was kind of having, right? And that's a big thing on a journey for, like, honestly, every guy, right?
Yeah. Because I think everyone in the gym, they're always like, we do chase the pump, essentially. Like, we get pumped, like, oh, that looks good. Now, when we don't have the pump, we're like, I want to look like the pump.
Yeah.
But part of that, too, is going to be having the structure and, like, tracking your progress. Because a lot of times we don't track our progress, so we don't even see how much better we're getting. That's why taking photos every week or bi-weekly, checking your weight, measuring your quads or your arms, you'll be able to see your growth then. Because even that, like, it happens to me sometimes, even till this day. Like, I'll be like, oh, am I making progress? Then I take photos and compare. I'm like, oh shit, no, I'm making progress. But if you don't take those photos, if you're not tracking your progress, then that's going to keep happening. And that still goes back to, like, what are you doing? Because that's if you're making progress. If you're not going to make progress if you have no structure. And then you're just looking like, I'm not making progress now. There's no point. It's like, okay, look at what you're doing to try to make that progress. Because a lot of guys at the gym, they'll be like, I talk to my friends at the gym, or guys that I know, they're like, oh, you have such good genetics. It's because you're black. Yeah. Like, it's like, bro, you don't know where I started, man.
Yeah.
You don't know where I started. Like, I went to high school 5 feet tall, short and fat.
For real?
Yeah, 5 feet tall, fat. And and even when I hit a growth spurt, I was just skinny. Even when I was fat, and then like the last year I got skinny because I had gym and fitness in the same semester, and then playing ball, and then I gained weight again. But like, I was fat and I didn't have much muscle. Like, I went through so much to get to where I am now. It's not just good genetics. I went through making so much mistakes, chasing abs, all of the mistakes, injuries, all the mistakes.
Yeah. Well, one thing you said there was structure. I want to just pinpoint that structure there for a second. And I see this when I go in the gym sometimes because I go like 5 times a week, so the regulars are always there. And sometimes I go, what are you even hitting today? Like, I don't even know what the workout is because sometimes they're on the treadmill, then all of a sudden they're stretching, and then they're hitting biceps. So for me, when I hear structure, it's almost like people go into the gym just like you said, ready to work out, just work out, quote unquote. But what does structure look like for somebody who may not know what structure is?
Okay, put it in plain terms, having a plan. So like for your whole week, because look at it like in chunks of week to week to week, and then that's going to continuously add up to make your year and like just makes your overall progress. So let's say in the week, like how many days can you train? That's going to be your first basis. Because if you don't know how many days to train, how are you going to know what workouts to do or how much workouts to do on any given day? That's going to be your volume. That's going to be your sets and your reps, everything you're doing. Because if you have 3 days, that's going to look very different than having 6 days. Someone that has 3 days might be doing like full body 3 days or doing like upper, lower, and then full body, something like that. So knowing how many days you're going to train, then you're going to look at how many sets and reps you can do based on that. And then how much food you're eating based on your goal, and then how much recovery you need, all of that. So having an outline for what you want for your goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the best part about what you're saying is when you have that plan, it makes getting into the gym that much easier, because I feel even at the beginning when I didn't know how to work out, going to the gym, there was so much friction or cognitive friction because I don't even know what I got to do today. I don't know where I'm going to be going in the gym. But if you know exactly what you're going to hit, how many times you're going to hit it, how long you're going to be in the gym, it makes it that much easier to be like, you know what, I'm going to go today. I know exactly what I got to do.
Exactly. It has that reason behind the action. Because like, okay, I know this is going to get me this. So then you're like, so I'm going to do it. Versus you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, but what am I going to get? It's like, what's the point? If you don't have that structure, if you don't have that plan, you feel like there's no point in taking that action. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing. They just go in there, they're like, I'm going to hit arms because I want to grow arms. It's like, how many sets are you doing per week? Well, because I always ask people these questions, and it's like, bro, that's why you're not making progress. You don't need to take testosterone. You need to look at what you're doing to get to your goal. How much are you eating? Well, I don't know. I kind of just eat whatever my mom makes. Like, bro,
Yeah.
you need to eat. You need to know how much you're eating. Like any guy that says they're a hard gainer, I laugh.
Yeah.
Like, you're just not eating enough. You haven't trained your body to eat. Like, even when it comes to bulking too, like you have to be in a calorie surplus, right? And a lot of guys some people struggle with eating enough. Some people it's too hard. It's hard for some people. It's easy to eat enough. Some people it's hard to eat enough. And once it's hard to eat enough, you have to train your body. Because I have a friend that I talk to like this, and I've seen him grow when it comes to eating. Like, it was difficult for him to fit in regular meals because he'd always be in his mind. He's so used to thinking, so he'd always be in his mind. Or if you get stressed, you can't eat. And then creating structure around that matters too. Like, if it's hard for you to eat, you should know what times a day that you're going to have your meals, so it's spread out, so you can actually build up that hunger to eat, and how big those meals are going to be. Otherwise, you're going to have breakfast maybe, and then you might have like dinner, and they're like, fuck, I have like 1,000 calories left, and it's 10 p.m. What are you going to do? Yeah. So having the structure around there matters very much too, because you need to be in some kind of surplus to gain muscle. Unless you're a very much beginner, that's where like the little monotonous, like if you're a beginner or untrained, or you've been out of the gym for like a year or some shit like that, that's when you can maybe gain muscle being at maintenance, because it's all new stimulus, body recomp, all that little stuff. But as you get more into monotonous stuff, if you've been training for a while and you feel like you hit a plateau, that stuff is going to matter very much. The structure, how much you're consuming, the volume, all that stuff is going to matter very much.
It's like having a plan, and it's going to do the heavy lifting for you.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about then on this kind of synonymous thing with structure. Let's dive into the foundation that you said. What do you mean by foundation, especially with muscle building? Because I know a lot of guys are like one-dimensional, like we said, I'm just going to hit the gym. But when you say let's build a foundation, what does that mean? Okay.
Habits. I guess habits and how you look at everything you're doing. Because like foundation is the structure as well, but it's habits and everything that you're doing. Because like I mentioned, the nutrition, fitness, mindset, and recovery, all those are part of your base. So the nutrition, making sure you have habits around your nutrition when it comes to consuming the right quality of nutrition, consuming the right amount of nutrition, and making it easier for yourself based on your lifestyle. Because everyone has different lifestyles and different struggles, whatever not. If you work from home, you might have time to cook. If you don't, then you might have to meal prep, or you batch cook, or you use some kind of meal prep service. And then when it comes to fitness, creating the habits around how many days you're going to the gym and showing up when you don't feel like it, which also goes into mindset. And then recovery is a huge part that people miss as well, creating that base around recovery too, knowing that rest days are just as important as training days. Because I've talked to people, like anyone that says they struggle to take a rest day, they don't have balance. They don't have that base. Because if you struggle to take a rest day, you don't know the importance of it. Your body's already like, because this is all stressful stuff on our body. That's where our body adapts, because we're stressing it to the point where our body's like, okay, we have to do better. Because next time when this guy goes, when we go to lift heavy weight or we go to move this thing, we want to get more efficient at it. So we're stressing our body, and now it has to recover from that. It has to rejuvenate, build new cells, so that when it goes back to it, it's ready. So if you're not giving your body time to do that, your body's not going to be able to adapt. So creating that mindset and the habits around doing all those things, around those things, is what's going to help them make progress. Does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, 100%. But what I want to dive into, because we're talking about these pillars now and these different aspects of the foundation, let's dive into nutrition, because this is such a big component of bulking or muscle building, weight loss. Like nutrition's a really big component. I'm a nutrition geek. Like all these books right here, they're straight up nutrition books. There's so many, man. So many.
I know that one.
But especially on this topic of bulking, muscle building, there's been times in my life where I've done a dirty bulk. And for those of you that don't know what a dirty bulk is, that means like you're on a seafood diet, meaning if you see food, you're going to eat it. Yeah. And I remember there was a time I was working at a kitchen back in the day, and we would always make these chicken tenders, okay? And what we would do is they're already breaded, they're frozen, and we would get pancake batter with cinnamon and then double batter them and then deep fry them. And then we would come out, we would it's a mix of sweet Thai chili sauce, barbecue sauce, and then you would dip it in ranch. It was so good. And I remember we actually calculated how many calories for one chicken tender it was. It was 1,000 calories. It was like 980, but we say 1,000, all right?
That's a skill.
And Jaleel, bro, I remember eating like 10 at a time. And in my head, I go, I'm bulking. I'm eating 10,000 calories in this one sitting. But now I look back and I go, I felt so awful through that entire time of bulking, getting big, lifting heavy. Sure, I looked big. I was very inflamed though. I was very tired, lethargic. I was frustrated, irritable. Like there were all these negative side effects that came from a dirty bulk. So let's dive into nutrition in that sense. Like where do you think people should really know about nutrition if they're going into bulking for a sense? Like what's the one thing you wish they took away?
Okay, so when you're bulking, of course, the goal is to eat in a surplus. Now, the first thing people think about is, okay, well, now that I'm eating in a surplus, I'm trying to gain weight, I could just eat whatever I want. That is not how you want to look at it. Because like you said, you're going to feel like crap. Because I've done that myself too, like just letting myself eat whatever, and you're going to eat almost so much junk food before you feel like crap, your digestion's off, your energy levels are low. That stuff, it affects your performance as well. Like if you're try eating a bunch of junk food, then go to work out and see like you're gonna feel like puking. Yep. Like it affects your digestion, it affects your recovery. Like you said, you're gonna feel inflamed. So when you're going into a bulk, you want to eat as much clean food as you can, and by clean food I mean minimally processed food. So you don't want to depend on cold cuts. You don't want to depend on like the freezer food. Meal prep foods are fine. Like if you order meal prep service, stuff like that isn't preserved usually. So stuff like that is fine. But minimally processed foods with minimal ingredients usually. That's gonna be the biggest thing you want to focus on. And if you struggle to consume, and like because I was talking about people before, hard gainers, quote unquote. If you struggle with eating a lot of food, there's still different ways to go about it. Like you could just change the macros. Like keep your protein high. You can do like smoothies where you're tossing oats in there, peanut butter, or just high fat foods. Lean ground beef or just ground beef, because that's going to be higher fat content, it's going to have more calories. So just trying to make sure your nutrition isn't full of processed food, because as much as that sounds like fun, it's not. It gets old real quick. Very fast. Digestion, you're going to feel bloated. Now, if your digestion is off, your gut health is off, your microbiome is off, which is the little creatures that kind of break down the food. Now, when your body goes to break down your chicken or your beef or whatever you're eating, it might not absorb as much as it could because the digestion's off, which is going to affect your recovery. It's going to affect your muscle gain, all these factors. And if you're inflamed, you might feel stiff when you're moving. Your joints might feel like crap. Like it's not going to feel good. You're going to feel like low energy. You might have headaches, stuff like that. So that's going to affect not even just in the gym, outside the gym, your daily life. So to make sure that when you are bulking, you're trying to consume minimally processed food, better quality foods.
The whole foods. Yeah, I'm an advocate for the whole foods. And that's like your brown rices, that's your oats, that's your sweet potatoes, like foods that you don't need a long, extensive ingredient list. For those of you that maybe just want an extra clarifier there. I think one thing I want to highlight here too is the fact that when you're eating those whole foods, they have protective effects on the body. So let's say you're eating like a bunch of fruits, smoothies even as a sense. People don't think that's like a bulking thing. It's like, yo, I just need chicken and rice and that's it. But all these other whole foods that come into your body help reduce inflammation, give your gut health the fiber to, again, help your body function in a better way, recover faster. And I think once I started introducing vegetables back into my like bulking diet back in the day, I feel much better. My energy levels are good. I'm hitting workouts better. I'm sleeping better. And that all stems to better performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like even getting your fruits and veggies in, a lot of people surprisingly don't get enough fruits and veggies. I'm like, I love fruits. I love fruits, and I keep my veggies simple. I love green beans.
Nice, man.
But that keeps your stomach clear. You feel lighter, and you're getting the positive benefits of like the fruits, like the what's the word I'm looking for?
The whole foods?
Yeah, no, the fruits like blueberries.
Oh, the like antioxidants and things like that?
Yeah, there you go. This is in my mind, but I couldn't get it out. Get it out. Yeah, the antioxidants from that's going to help you feel better too. And then that your digestion going to be better from the fruits and from the veggies. Your microbiome is going to be better. Having a diverse microbiome is going to help you digest overall other types of food. And that better quality is going to do so much better for you. Now, that also doesn't mean that you can't enjoy, like you have a birthday or an event coming up. It doesn't mean you just stiff arm them and say no, but you can make better quality, make better decisions when you're going out to eat too. Like you're not going to go for the deep fried fucking chicken burger or like French fries every single time you go out. You might make different changes to it. Like you might go for a beef burger. Like burgers are fine, just don't want like deep fried stuff. And instead of French fries, maybe you get like a baked potato or something, and then you get some stuff you can add to it. Like you're just making better choices to make it a lifestyle without feeling like you're just super restricted, but you can still enjoy your food. And guys, please season your food. Like anyone that says they don't like chicken and rice or like beef and rice, whatever, not these whole foods, they say it's boring. Learn how to cook. Like cooking is a skill. Like I love my beef and rice and my chicken and rice because I season it well. Like guys, because when you think about the junk food that you crave all the time, it's because it's highly palatable. They legit do research on how they can make this food taste better and make it more addicting. So try to do the same thing with your home cooked meals. Because when I think about the meals I want to eat, I actually get excited because I know how good I can make it taste. Like protein pancakes, for example. Like you can make those with better quality ingredients too. You can use like banana, eggs, and oats instead of using like the quick cook one. Even Flourish has some decent ones as well, and even that you can mix with other stuff. So like look at better quality ingredients that you can work into your diet. I definitely went on a tangent because I forgot what the original question was.
No, it's all good information. But what I'm taking away from this segment on nutrition is don't just get so tunnel vision into chicken and rice. Enjoy a well-rounded plate that's going to give you the nutrients, antioxidants, the protective things that you need to improve your recovery, improve your performance, right?
Yes.
So
and even there's even benefits of switching out like your protein sources on a weekly basis. Like one week you might have like a chicken and beef, or just like having a chicken, or like next week have beef, or like even some people like bison, stuff like that, or turkey another week. That could diversify your gut health as well. And same thing with fruits. Like there's some staple, like I love like berries in general are very good. Berries in general are very good, but you can switch out the type of berries you're having. I know blueberries are always a very good staple because of the antioxidants, but you can switch out berries or like mangoes or pineapple one week. You can switch them out, having that's going to help with your diverse gut health too. Even like types of food, like the types of meals you create, like it's winter, like you might want squash or like soup, stuff like that. That's going to help your gut health too, because your body can usually sense the season, and then those seasonal foods are going to be better quality because they're going to be fresher too. They're not as preserved to get them from wherever they came from. So stuff like that can make a difference too.
Well, speaking of putting stuff in your body, let's dive into like supplements, pre-workouts, all these other things that, like you said, clients are always just looking for right from the get-go. Like, what can I add in? But what's your take on supplements? Like, do you recommend them? Like, when do you recommend them? What do you think? What's your take?
Yeah, so the actual supplement list I would recommend is pretty small, at least to start. Like, unless you have any other underlying issues like PCOS or endo, stuff like that, you're not going to need any crazy supplements. And even then, your diet is still first. Like what you're consuming is still first, because your diet is just what you're consuming, guys. Diet doesn't mean you're in fat loss phase, because that's what it's used for nowadays. But what you're consuming is going to be first. Because if you're consuming Taco Bell and this other shit and like all this other crap food, first of all, there's thermogenesis of, what's it called? Is it thermogenesis? Yeah, thermogenesis. How much calories your body breaks down or burns breaking down food.
Oh,
Like,
thermic effective food.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Thermic
yeah.
effective food. I forget the term sometimes.
Hey, man, it's good. It's good.
But thermic effective food, like protein, I think it's what, 30%, upwards of like 30% for if it's good quality food, if it's non-processed. So you lose the thermic effect of food when you're consuming fast food because it's more preservatives, it's deep fried. Now your body can't absorb as much nutrients from it. It's not going to burn as many calories breaking it down. It's actually just going to put your body in more of a stressful state. Now, nutrition first and then supplements after, because that should just supplement some nutrients that you are missing, because the quality of food nowadays isn't as good as it was like 200 years ago, because the soil that they use, it's all degrading, the types of food, a lot of preservatives in almost everything. But supplements just add on to what you're missing. So some good stuff is like fish oil or cod liver oil is really good. I know cod liver oil, I think it's, don't quote me on this, but I think it's higher, it's either vitamin C or A, I think. I think it's one of the two. Don't quote me on that one. But cod liver oil is really good. And creatine is also good, and that's a pretty cheap one. That is it's a good staple. Vitamin D with K2 in it, and magnesium. That's pretty much my staple there. Maybe B vitamins, but usually if you're getting enough B, you may not need that. But that's my staple supplements right there.
Yeah. So your whole thing is like food first, lifestyle first, and then what can we add in to maybe enhance what you're maybe missing?
Exactly.
One thing that I've learned over the years, especially just reading up on nutrition, was this concept of reductionism versus holism. Have you ever heard of this topic?
No.
So it's the guy Colin Campbell. I have a couple of his books behind you, but he was saying that the way that supplements work is very reductionist, as in it's extracting one isolated nutrient from a food that we need, and we're just going to blow it up out of proportion and then put it into our body in an isolated pill form.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, there's not a lot of benefit in that, because think about how food evolved over time. Food evolved, let's say vitamin C as an example. Food evolved with an orange, with natural sugars, fiber, antioxidants, polyphenols, and then the vitamin C within it, and a million other things. The body is designed to eat an orange. A body is not designed to eat vitamin C. So we're looking at some of the studies that he was saying, he goes, the vitamin C would actually have a negative effect in some people's bodies, because the body's not used to handling 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. It's used to handling it with an orange and balancing it with those natural sugars, blah, 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 the way it works. So I think sometimes it's like a very finicky line to play with supplements, especially if you're not, like you said, food first.
Yeah, and that's why some people just end up pissing it out.
They do. That's the thing.
Because like your what you're consuming with it too is going to help with the absorption. Like magnesium helps with the absorption of a lot of different nutrients, and a majority of people are deficient in magnesium, a wide majority, and vitamin D. Those two things alone help you absorb so many other nutrients. So people don't realize that, and they're just down in these things and like, oh yeah, it's making me better, it's helping me recover from my sickness, whatever. Not, you're just pissing it out.
Wasting money, you're pissing out money.
Exactly. Like there's fat soluble nutrients and fat soluble vitamins, stuff like that. And if you're not consuming, if you don't consume it, it could depend what you're consuming it with too. Like you might want to have like a smoothie with peanut butter or like a beef kind of meal or something when you're consuming it with it, before you consume that vitamin. And that might help with the absorption of it. But even then, you don't need to add a crazy amount of stuff. Like try to eat the actual food first before you go to the supplement. And then the supplement again is just to add on top of that, because your food is going to help. Like if I'm trying to think of this analogy, our head coach used. It's like the supplement is like a tow truck. It's like if you really get stuck and you're like in a ditch and there's no other way to get out, you might use some supplements just to get you out of the ditch. Like if you're deep in the ditch, and then your nutrition is going to get you back on that road. Your nutrition is your main fuel. It's going to get you back on the road. It's going to keep your car going. It's going to repair your car. But that the supplements might help you get you out of this ditch, or if like one wheel gets stuck, it might help you get out of that ditch.
Oh, I like that analogy, man. That's neat. Yeah. That's neat. Well, even on this topic of taking supplements, I know a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, or even just everyday people that I speak with, they're always trying to take supplements to improve their sleep. Now, for me, I also have my sleep certification in terms of helping people reduce that stress, get better sleep, better quality sleep. Again, it's not about duration. But I say the secret to a good night's sleep starts from the moment you wake up. It's not really dependent on all these supplements and things that you think you maybe need. So what's your take on getting a good night's sleep, especially in terms of helping performance with bulking, muscle gain, and all other factors, especially with fitness?
Something that we talk about is sleep hygiene. So sleep hygiene is like, what are you doing before you go to sleep? Like, are you just scrolling on your phone? You're like, okay, it's time to sleep. You toss your phone to the side. You go to sleep. It's like the blue light affects, oh man, I forgot what the ratio is, but blue light affects your sleep quality a lot. Like it'll downregulate your sleep quality by a lot. So being on your phone in front of a computer screen, that would downregulate your sleep quality by a lot. Just that alone. So look at your sleep hygiene. Like, are you handling, and like you said, it starts from the beginning of the day. How's your stress levels throughout the day? Do you have a de-stress routine? Because your de-stress routine is going to look kind of similar to your pre-sleep routine. Because you're trying to calm your body down and get ready for sleep. If you're going to sleep and your mind is like, okay, tomorrow I have to do this. I'm struggling with this. I need to make money for this. It's like, if your mind's thinking about that, that's why you wake up with anxiety. That's why like you wake up at 3 a.m. and like, holy shit, you're ready to run through a wall. Because your body is in that fight or flight state. Your body is not going to want to sleep in that fight or flight state because it wants to fight or fly. It wants to run away or fight. Yeah. So what's your sleep hygiene looking like? Like getting off your phone like an hour before bed, if you can do that. If you're just starting, maybe you start with 30 minutes before bed. Then you work up to an hour, and then you work up to maybe an hour and a half. And you do like a journal. And your journal there's a few ways to journal. You can brain dump. It depends what's going on. If you're having a lot of anxiety, I find brain dumping does help. So whatever's on your mind, write it down on paper. Or whatever you have to do tomorrow, write it down on paper. And then write down what you're thankful for and what goals you want to achieve as if they already happened. Because that gets whatever you're thinking about on paper and then gets you focused on your goals and what you want to achieve. Now you do some deep breathing. That's going to help you calm down, help you get into your parasympathetic system. That's the right one, right? Yeah, okay. Parasympathetic system, help you calm down. And now you can read before bed or because you're going to be calmer. Now you can read before bed. That's going to naturally help you get into that sleep state. And make sure that your room is cool as well. Like, because if you're in a hot room, whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, it's because someone changed the temperature. If I wake up, if I'm hot, I'm like, fuck, why do I wake up? I'm like, it's fucking hot as fuck. Yeah. The room should be cool and ideally blacked out so that when in the morning you're not getting the sun rays on your skin and waking you up unless that's what you want. Mm-hmm. But usually blacked out windows or blacked out curtains are going to help a lot as well. So your sleep hygiene overall, that is going to affect the quality of your sleep. Because I've kind of played around with it too. I'm like, what happens if I don't actually do this routine? How do I feel? I woke up, I'm like, fuck, I should have done the routine.
Right there.
Like you feel like crap. Like I'll set my alarm for 8 hours. I wake up, I felt like I got like 5. But I've also had nights where I got 6 and I woke up feeling like I got 9 because that night I did all of that. I did the reading, I did the journaling, I did the deep breathing. I was on my phone before bed and I woke up feeling amazing. So see, all this stuff makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and it's so simple, some of the stuff too, and it's just a matter of getting it done to make sure that you're prioritizing that, right? Mm-hmm. Where I want to jump back to in our conversation, especially on this topic of sleep, is nutrition. Again, like it ties in for me so closely with sleep because a lot of people, and I'm bringing this in the gut microbiome, a lot of people don't know that your gut microbiome significantly affects your sleep. So if you have bad digestion or you have some gut microbiome issues, this could be what's affecting your sleep. I'll give you the perfect example is serotonin. It's a hormone in your body. It's that feel-good hormone. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is produced in your gut.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? And the other thing is that serotonin is a precursor to producing melatonin. Mm-hmm. And melatonin, for those of you who don't know, is your good sleep quality hormone. Mm-hmm. So melatonin is what's going to put you to bed. And I think it's like 70% of melatonin is built or made within the gut. Mm-hmm. So imagine if you're eating very inflammatory foods per se, lots of deep fried foods, lots of really bad seed oils, a lot of refined grains that again aren't good for your gut. Mm-hmm. You're going to put your gut into a perpetual state of inflammation. So imagine your gut's trying to build out these great hormones that's going to help you sleep and regulate your nervous system and all these great things, but it's on fire. Like it's not going to be able to produce all those things that's going to put you to bed. So that's why fasting, again, even eating anti-inflammatory foods in that sense, it's going to help with your sleep, even though it's eating. It doesn't even seem like the two are connected, but they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Because like night is supposed to be when your body rejuvenates, but like you said, if your body is in that inflamed state, it's like making someone work 24 hours just nonstop. Because now when your body's supposed to be rejuvenating, it's still trying to like put out the fire. It's still trying to put out that fire, and the fire is just not going down. Your body's like, okay, we need something, we need help, we need to put out this fire, and that goes into cortisol levels as well too, because if your cortisol levels are always elevated, then your melatonin levels and your serotonin levels are those things. They're not going to want to be elevated either, because your body's still in that fight or flight state. I don't know a whole lot about. I know that stuff. I know that does affect your gut health, but I don't know how to break it down very well. Yeah. But I do know that the cortisol levels themselves that's going to affect that very much. Because again, if that's elevated, you're in a fight or flight state. You're not going to want to calm down. Your body's not going to want to release that melatonin, which is going to help you get into a deeper sleep or better quality sleep. And that's when some supplements might be able to help you, get out of that roadblock. But again, you don't want to depend on those long term for the rest of your life. Use it while you're healing and then you won't need it. And for some people, it might feel different. Like melatonin for me, it makes me feel groggy in the morning when I take it. So I prefer doing my sleep routine because I feel a lot better that way. So, and magnesium does help as well. Magnesium, I think biglycinate helps with sleep quality as well, because it helps your body calm down a bit, relax your muscles, relaxes everything. So that can help a bit with sleep quality, but it's not the only use. Again, it helps with nutrient absorption, so it can help with all of that. Because if your body's absorbing more nutrients, it's going to be in a better state when you're going to sleep, or just overall. And it might not be trying to put out that fire, or it might put out that fire easier because of that. So that's going to play a role there as well.
Yeah, it even helps, aside from putting out all the fires and being in that stressful state. Let's say your body's not in that. Sleep is when the real anabolic window happens. That's when muscle repair probably is like through the roof, right? Because your body's having a chance to be like, okay, he's not walking, he's not moving. Let's repair those muscle fibers. So even in that sense, like, you're doing your body an extra favor, elevating your recovery and performance, because you're allowing your muscles to have the space to rebuild and to heal.
Yes.
Now, I also want to touch on this aspect of sleep too. When I was on my journey, I only used to sleep like 5.5 hours a day. And I was like, yo, I'm like the Rock. I'm going to sleep 4 hours and just hitting the gym. Yeah. That's so bad for you, sleeping that little amount of time. So I want to even say to guys, even women out there in this grind culture and always thinking that you have to work and grind and do all this and that, sleeping is what is going to help you show up better for your workout the next day. You're not going to feel lethargic. You're giving your body the space to heal. So what's your take on like actually making space for sleep within your muscle building journey?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Most of those guys that get that little sleep, most of them don't actually feel really good. Like, they're taking a lot of pre-workout stuff. They're taking a lot of stimulants throughout the day, a lot, which is not overall great for you. But I went through that phase of my journey too. Like, I remember I was getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep. I'd wake up, coffee, then I'd go to the gym, pre-workout, and it became an unhealthy routine, because I got to the point where I was like, should I take 2 scoops of pre-workout? Because I don't feel one. And I was like, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to stop, because I'm like 3,000 milligrams of caffeine, and I don't feel it. I'm like, this is horrible. And I was just tired throughout the day. Yeah. But yeah, your sleep is very important, and you don't want to be depending on these stimulants to just take on life, because you're going to feel like crap. Especially being a woman, you have so many more hormones that are going to be affected by the lack of sleep. If you feel like crap, like, man, especially if you're on your period during that time, you want to make sure you're getting enough sleep, because women, their hormones change way more. But overall, both men and women, it's going to affect them both. You want to make sure you're getting good quality sleep, and you're not depending on caffeine and things like that to make it throughout the day.
Yeah. Okay, let's dive into recovery then, because sleep and the recovery kind of go hand in hand. But since we already dove into the topic on sleep, what else would you say, even to clients or listeners right now, how important is recovery, and what does recovery look like along a muscle building journey?
Oh yeah, that's those rest days. That's those rest days I was talking about. So I like to do active recovery. So for me, active recovery is usually some kind of mobility, because like almost everyone needs some kind of mobility, and then some kind of movement. It could be whatever movement you enjoy. I generally aim for like 10K steps on a daily basis. So on the rest day, you're just trying to get those in. But you can do any kind of activity that you enjoy. If it's biking, or if it's going for a light jog, if it's hiking. But I would say do your mobility first, because that's kind of what your body needs. And then you can do your activity, because that's what you want to do, because usually what you enjoy. Even if you don't like doing the activity at first, you will grow to enjoy it the better you start to feel. Because if your joints feel good from doing the mobility, you don't feel tight anymore, you don't have back pain, you don't have knee pain because you're doing your mobility. Now, when you go to do an activity, you're like, holy shit, I feel this. You feel free, and then that's going to help you attack your workouts as well. Because if you go into your workout, your body feels good because you took that rest day. Your muscles look full because you still ate your food. Your muscle glycogen that's all stored up. Your joints feel good. You're ready to take on that workout. You don't feel depleted. You have amazing energy. You have mental clarity because you took that rest day. That's going to affect your workout too. Because now your body can focus on building muscle because it's not completely stressed. They got that day to chill, to recover, to build more muscle fibers, to refill the muscle glycogen. They got that day. Now you can go back to your workouts and feel amazing and keep on making progress.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing for even when I was on my journey. Like someone told me to take a rest day. I was like, what? What do you mean a rest day? Like you want to walk?
Yeah.
But no, it goes an incredibly long way. And even let's take the topic out of muscle building and getting into the gym. When you take a rest day, every aspect of your life gets better. Your relationships get better because you're not as anxious and frustrated. You perform better at work because you're not irritable and tired. Like it has so many different spillover effects that I think we're blind to because we're always just worried about getting that PR in the gym.
Yeah, and also because people got that thought process from the fact that like pro bodybuilders will go to the gym like 6 or 7 days a week, or some of them people go twice a day, or I don't know if many go twice a day anymore, but that used to be very popular in like the 90s or even 80s. People, they would go twice a day, and now people thought, okay, that's what people got the thought process of more is better. But these people are on anabolic steroids, guys. They recover a lot faster than you do, and it's literally their job to be in the gym. They can spend all day, they're getting paid to look good. So it's their job to be there that amount of time. You're not getting paid to be in the gym for 8 hours or 4 hours, whatever amount of time they're in there for, twice a day, and to go on stage and compete. So working into your lifestyle, you don't have to be at the gym 6 days a week. What works for your schedule? This goes back to having that structure too. Because if 3 days works for your schedule, use those 3 days. I'd say very minimum 2 days full body. I would say ideally 3 days at very least, but minimum 2 days full body. But what works for your schedule? That's what you want to look at. You don't need to be, you don't have that thought process that you need to be in the gym 7 days. It's just going to work against you because now you're trying to work in a schedule that you can't maintain because you're always going to feel like you're failing if you're aiming for 6 days and every single week you're like, fuck, I only hit 4. Fuck, I only hit 4. It's like, stop aiming for 7, stop aiming for 6. You have 4 days, use those 4 days.
Little mental shift goes a long way.
Yeah, man. And that's where having that goal and knowing what works for you is what works for that goal, and having that structure is going to play a huge role. Because now you can split up everything that you need to do in those 4 days, and you have those four rest days or those 3 other rest days where you can rejuvenate and go back to your workout feeling super refreshed. Mentally, physically, spend time with your family, do other fun stuff you want to do, and now you have that lifestyle that you can maintain for the rest of your life, not just something you do for 2 weeks.
Holistic, man.
Exactly,
Holistic. Man,
exactly.
Jaleel, man, thank you for coming on the show today. I want to say a big, seriously, thank you, because this is a good power-packed episode. I know a lot of insights for a lot of guys and women out there. This is going to hit home for them. So where can listeners connect with you after this podcast if they want to get in touch, see your content, learn from you? Where can they go?
Thanks for having me on the podcast, man. It's super dope. It's my first podcast.
Hey, you did a good job.
But y'all can find me on Instagram at Jaleel Francis, and same thing on Facebook as well, and on LinkedIn. I think my name on TikTok is also Jaleel Francis. Jaleel Francis everywhere. That's JALEEL FRANCIS.
Yeah, man. We're going to link it all in the show notes for you wherever you're listening to it. I'll link his Instagram and his TikTok.
Dope.
And yeah, head over to Jaleel's stuff. He's awesome, inspirational, man. Gets me out of bed every morning. I go, I was going to sleep in today, but now he's in the gym. I got to go. He's a nice wisdom and insightful person to follow. So check him out. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Jaleel, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, brother.